Hello everyone, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 430. It's our last day. We are already packed, as you can see. Most of the stuff is already gone. We are about 5 minutes away from checking out from Hyatt Regency, Tagazut, and we decided eventually that we will go back to Essaouira and drive from there tomorrow to Marrakesh airport, despite what I wrote before, that we were thinking about extending the stay and driving from here. There are a couple of reasons, but one of the main ones is not only we would like to check Medina once again and our favorite vendor there, and maybe spend an evening in visiting Fishburger, but also the drive from Essaouira to Marrakesh is smoother and straightforward, so we can expect less problems, or I would say any obstacles that might be unknown to us at this moment. And we know that we drove this way, well, both ways, to Essaouira and to Marrakesh, or rather the other way around. So we know the road, we know it's fine. And as some of you might know, there was an earthquake in Morocco just, I think, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. And it was in southwestern part of Marrakesh. So some towns have been destroyed. In Atlas Mountains, some roads were also damaged, so we don't want to risk it and go from Tagazut to Marrakesh and find any obstacles. And it's a longer road to Marrakesh from here. So yeah, that's the first update. Second one probably will be on the road. Second segment, Croissant Gamer on the left, or your left or your right, I don't know, because sometimes it's recording in a mirror and then turns or flips the video horizontally. As you can hear, Julian is still coughing, but I think he's feeling better. So hopefully on the recovery. We are already checked out and just spending time by the pool, as they don't mind us staying here as long as we want for the next week or so. Now, we decided to stay for about 1 or 2 hours before we go to Essaouira. We booked the same place that we stayed after Marrakesh, so it's a familiar spot. We will try and get sorted with the early breakfast tomorrow, because we have about 3 hours drive and they start breakfast at 8 a.m. So we'd like it to be earlier so we can actually leave at 8. That would be perfect. And that will be it for Morocco, I guess. We'll see how it goes. At least most of stuff is already packed. Still need to make sure that the main bag is not overweight. If it's fat, we need to get it on a treadmill so it can lose some weight. And Julian is not listening, but it's okay.
What did you say?
I said that we need to make sure before we leave Essaouira that our main bag is not overweight. If it's fat, we need to get it on the treadmill so it loses weight before the flight. No, but yeah, that's a dad's joke. Anyway, that's the second segment. I was expecting it to be on the road, but I guess the third one will be on the road. For now, we are relaxing, spending the last lovely hours at the ocean side in Tagazut, and we'll be departing probably in about an hour or so. And welcome back. Another short segment from our road back to Essaouira. We left Tagazut about an hour ago or so. We still have about 1 hour and a half to go, I think. Just past the mountains, and I'd say the most treacherous part. The road is nice. It was a bit windy when we were approaching the mountains pass and the valley, but now it seems like we are covered. Not much wind anymore, and the rest of the road is likely to be quite on the boring side, so we'll see each other in Essaouira. Closing segment, guys. So we arrived at Essaouira. We had a nice evening strolling across. Julian is still coughing. So we logged into the same dar or accommodation that we've been at the beginning when we drove from Marrakesh to Essaouira. We met Amin, the same lovely guy that was hosting us the first time. He was surprised to see us, so that was a nice chat, and we did all the necessary documents, because even for a single night you need to fill in some forms for the government, so the accommodation owners are in line with whatever the legislation is. So I had to do that again and handed that to Amin, and then we went on to Medina in Essaouira, because Elizabeth wanted to get some, I would say, last minute shopping around, and to be honest, that's probably the best Medina so far that we were able to see. There's a lot of genuine shops with good produce, local produce, from jewelry through any artisan crafts that you can get. So it's very little of that cheap stuff that you can get in Agadir or in Marrakesh sometimes. So we really like it. The vibe is great, and it's beside the ocean, so it's an old town and has some specific atmosphere. So we got the stroll, got whatever we needed, got also the cash from the cash machine, because I needed to pay in cash for the accommodation. And on the way back we went again to Fish Burger to meet the guys again. We had a lovely meal. Afterwards we dropped whatever we bought in Medina to our room, and we dressed up because it's definitely much colder here than in Tagazut. It's very windy today, and the temperature is definitely lower than where we were, so it was a little bit of a shock when we came to Essaouira. So we dressed up, left the stuff in the room, and went for the last evening tea and some dessert. And we didn't know where to go. We were thinking about one artisan cafe that we were in Essaouira before, but they are usually open from morning hours up until the later afternoon. And it was already evening, they were closed. And I remembered one cafe or little bakery shop that looked like is more of that, I would say, modern or more of those hipster shops that we were looking for. And we found it on the main street of Medina. It's called Pumpkin. We've met Hamza there, brilliant guy. We had a lot of talk about where he is from, where we are from, some history lessons about Morocco as well as our areas, and we had a nice cake and mint tea. And then we walked back home, passing beside Fishburger again, and meeting Nabil, the owner. He was surprised to see us again, because he knew that we are flying back to Dublin tomorrow. So, all in all, very nice evening. We've met a couple of good people along the way, great people along the way, and some of them we actually followed and we will probably stay connected with. So that's a nice start of getting to know Morocco and our first trip. We are now prepping for bedtime, early wake up in the morning and drive to Marrakesh to get the car back, get through security, because we know that it might be taking some time, so we want to be ready and have enough time to go through even the slow security at the airport. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Depending on what time we'll be back in Dublin, I will record it. And it might be just a single segment, because I don't think I'll have enough time tomorrow to get multiple segments staged and done properly, because we expect to be, I would say, around probably 11 o'clock in the evening at home in Donegal. That's it for today. As I said, thank you very much for being here. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.